Story time about how I was essentially stalked by two of my students my first year of teaching. So my first year of teaching, I was like fresh out of college, 21, teaching high school, mind you. So sometimes the whole like getting respect in the classroom thing, especially when that age difference isn't that big, can be a little bit tough. And some kids push those boundaries definitely more than others. These two kids in particular though, they were a real big issue for me that year. Behaviorally, these kids were already like not super great for me, so was I surprised that they were the ones behind, you know, being brats to me and causing issues? Not really. Their behavior started off like pretty like small, not that big of a deal. I got engaged that year, so I was planning my wedding throughout that entire year, and back then you made your little wedding website and you had all your information on it, photos, your story, whatever. And they essentially somehow found that. I don't know why they thought to even look for that, whatever, but they found that, and then they found out what my now fiance or my now husband's name was, and then decided to go down like a deep dive of like creeping on him online. So they would randomly say stuff to me about my husband of like, oh, like his rugby stats, or they found like his Indeed page and like where he works, and like so they wouldn't like, oh, we found this, but they like just make a comment of like, oh, how's your husband doing at such and such? And I'm like, why do you even know information that I have not shared with you guys? Then it became them figuring out what truck I drove and basically saying like, oh, we like starting to tell me that, oh, did you enjoy your walk at the park the other day, or what were you doing at this location, and where were you here, and like, oh, we saw your truck in your driveway, and like all this kind of stuff. I'm like, why are you basically like following me around or acknowledging like where I'm at and like that kind of stuff? And then it became, because they knew where I live from seeing my, you know, bright red truck at that time, driving by like middle of the night and honking their freaking horns right in front of our home, which we were close to the road in that old house. I was like, okay, this is irritating. They of course thought it was funny, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like irritating, or like we're crossing a line here, you guys. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, like I saw your vehicle like out in the parking lot, but to say like, oh, we saw it in your driveway, and to like, we know where you live, and to be honking going past my house, like that kind of stuff. I'm like, a bit much. What really put it over the line was them somehow finding my, what's it called? My phone number, duh. But they found my phone number off like my resume that I had to submit like all virtually, and like back in those days we had to make like a YouTube video for the job in the district I ended up teaching with. So with that resume, they found my personal cell phone number, and then I started getting like random texts in the middle of the night, and then they're like, I still remember like, was it like 10 o'clock at night, they're requesting to like play 8-ball against me, because you know everyone was doing that in their text messages back in the day. I'm like, what, like who is this? And I'm like, you know what, I bet it's gonna be these two kids, because they've been basically like harassing me and won't leave me alone, and are just being like rude, disrespectful, annoying, whatever. Like there was also other stuff where like they found pictures, like nothing bad, like just like, oh, a family trip where I happen to be at the beach and therefore in a swimsuit, and then they're like being weird about that kind of stuff. But with the cell phone numbers, I'm like, you know what, we have this infinite campus type situation where we can see all of their information. I'm gonna look that up. And I'm like, oh, sure enough, found their cell phone numbers as like their information. I'm like, that's the number that's messaging me. So then that had to go to administration basically. And really all that happened was they got talked to and just said like, hey, cut it out, stop being creepy. The principal was like, we know if you want to like press any kind of charges or whatever. I'm like, it's not to that extent, I feel like, but it was just funny because the other day the dean of students, who was like there when that happened and had to talk to them, he's like, I'm like, who are the two kids that did it? I was like, oh yeah, like so and so and so and so, like remember when they did this and this, and like, yeah, they got talked to and that was about it, but they let up eventually. But I was like, welcome to teaching, I guess. Like, happy first year for me.
Y'all want to hear a crazy ass story? Ladies, you're gonna want to stay for this one. You're gonna want to stay for this one. Okay, this story didn't happen to me, but it happened to my friend, and he gave me permission to tell it. Okay, so this happened to my friend named Johnny. This happened like 20, 25 years ago, he said. Johnny's older. He said back in the day, him and 3 of his homegirls went to like a quinceañera or a wedding. He said he couldn't remember, but it was one of those. Latinos, you know how it goes. You go to so many of them, they blend into each other. You don't know what the fuck. Anyways, him and his 3 homegirls go to this event. They're all drinking. Everyone's having a good time. One of them runs into a guy. They click up. They're like dancing. They're like making out, and like Johnny said they're doing everything on the dance floor except the deed. But Johnny said he had a weird feeling about this guy. So he starts like asking everyone around the event, like, who's this motherfucker? Because it's a family event. Like, it's a quince or a wedding. There's like only friends and family, but nobody knows who this guy is. But nobody trips because like they're like, oh, he's not trouble. You know what I mean? He's charming, whatever. Like he was making friends with everybody there. So like nobody tripped on him. So it's the end of the night. Everybody's wasted. It's time to go. But one of the homegirls, that homegirl that met up with that dude, wanted to go home with that dude that she had just met at this event that nobody fucking knew who the fuck he was. And Johnny straight up was like, absolutely fucking not. We came here together. We're going home together. Latinos, like, we don't play that shit. I don't know how other cultures do that, but like, when you show up together, y'all go home together. If you're blackout wasted, they passed out, they will put you in a wagon and then wagon your ass all the way home. That's how we roll. So after some back and forth, they all end up like going in the car with Johnny because that's who they fucking came there with. So they get in the car with Johnny. Johnny's like, hey, we're all gonna crash in my house because I've been drinking. I'll take you guys home tomorrow. They all get to this place, go to sleep. That girl that was dancing with that dude all night, the very next morning, wakes up with what he described was like a super herp, like a super sore. Like the way he described it was like all of this side was like just, oh, it was like a piece of her was missing. I don't want to like get too graphic on here because TikTok is weird, but you know, you get what I'm saying. Big ass blister. And he straight up was like, bitch, you need to go to the motherfucking hospital. So they wake up. He takes the other two girls home and he takes the last one to the hospital. Sits in the waiting room for her. He says he's waiting there for about an hour. Johnny's a good friend. He wanted to make sure his homegirl's okay. So he's like sitting there waiting. He says all of the fucking sudden, the door bust open, the waiting door bust open. Cops everywhere. Pew-pews drawn. He's like, what the fuck? They're all pointed at him. Throw him to the ground, put him in handcuffs. Nobody's saying shit to him. He keeps asking, like, what the fuck is going on? Nobody's saying nothing. They throw him in the cruiser, take him downtown for questioning. It's not till he gets to questioning that he like figures out what the fuck's going on. But he said until he got down there, no one said a word to him. It turns out that the fucking girl that he took to the hospital, his homegirl, right? They did like a test, like a swab on her thing. Right? And it came back positive for like a virus that you only get from eating. Yes! Yes! So they thought her and Johnny were into some like, you know what I mean? Like they were on a lot of people and you know what I mean? So he's like, what the fuck? So, like, after interviewing both Johnny and that girl, the cops finally pieced together that she must have picked that thing up from the guy that she was making out with all night the night before. So, we gotta find that motherfucker. They end up finding out who he is, where he lives, goes into his house, and he had 2 bodies in his fridge that he had been...
My boyfriend tried to cheat on me, so this is what I did. My boyfriend would always sleep with his phone in his pocket, and I obviously thought this was a red flag, but I just ignored it. But there's this one night where it probably slipped out of his sweats, and I woke up with it near my legs. And I wasn't thinking about going through his phone. I was just gonna grab it and put it on the charger. I had just woken up. I was kind of half asleep, but I see that he has a bunch of notifications. And I had never gone through this man's phone, but I can clearly see that these notifications are from a dating app. Now, in this moment, I obviously wanted to slap him awake, but I didn't because I knew I had to be smarter than this. If this guy wanted to play on my face, I was going to play in his face too. I started thinking about all the things that I could do to him as revenge, and then I got this idea. I asked a friend of mine whom he hadn't met yet if I could use her pictures to create a fake dating profile. I knew that he was going to match with her because she's totally his type. So they matched, and in the meantime, I'm putting on the performance of my life. Like, I'm pretending everything is right. In fact, I'm even a better girlfriend now. In the meantime, I'm spending all my time flirting with him through the dating app. I want to go full force with this, so I suggest we should meet up. He immediately agrees to this. He even offers to pay for a hotel room for the both of us, which, by the way, like, first date, you ask this girl out to go to a hotel room with you, but it's not even that. It's that he was willing to pay for it. Now, this shocked me because I've been providing for this relationship for a year because he has been unemployed for a year. Every time he needs money for something, I'm the one who gives it to him. So he offers to pay for this random girl's hotel room, and then what does he do? He comes to ask me, the real me, for $50. He says that he needs $50 for his mom's birthday gift. And he also says that he's gonna go away for the weekend to go spend it with his mom. I give my boyfriend the $50 to go to a hotel room with my fake dating profile. I already know which hotel he's gonna go to because I'm the fake dating profile. Like, I can see every detail of the plans that he has. So this hotel is like half an hour away from where we live. So I know he gets there because he's texting my fake dating profile and he is very punctual. He gets there on time, and I just want to make him wait as long as I can. Well, for starters, I want to make him go crazy, and I also needed some time for the revenge. So the whole time I'm asking the friend that I got the pictures from if she could send me some pictures of her getting ready so I could give him excuses to keep him waiting. I would just send him pictures of her being like, I'm so sorry, I'm trying to look sexy for you, I'm almost there, blah blah blah, and I make him wait for 2 hours. After 2 hours of him waiting, you can guess that he was pretty annoyed. And then I text him with my fake dating profile saying that I'm outside his door. And then he opens the door and it is not the girl that he was expecting to see. It's his girlfriend. I drove there with 3 trash bags filled with all of his stuff. He didn't live with me, but he spent his whole time at my place, so I had a lot of his stuff there. I filled 3 trash bags with all of his stuff that I had in my house. As soon as he opens the door, it's like he saw a ghost, and I just threw him the trash bags. And then afterwards, I just tell him, never speak to me again. I don't ever want to see you in my life. He's apologizing. He's trying to talk to me. I didn't go there to have a conversation with him or to confront him about it. I went there because I just wanted to embarrass him, and that's how I wanted to end this story. He kept trying to talk to me, but I just walked away and I blocked him everywhere. So I go home, I blocked him everywhere, I sleep, and then I wake up with banging on my door. Of course I didn't open the door because, like I said, I didn't want to speak to this guy again, but he's crying, hysterically crying and screaming, saying that he needs to talk to me. This was very entertaining for me, obviously, but like I said, I didn't want to speak to him, so I ended up calling the cops because that is my property. After the cops came, this guy never spoke to me again. Thank God. I heard from friends that I guess he's doing okay. He moved in with his parents and I guess he got a job or something. So yeah.
Growing up, my life was very similar to the show Shameless. If you haven't seen the show Shameless, I'm sorry. If you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So at this time, like I said, I was like in the 5th grade. My dad had just gotten out of prison. So my mom and my dad decided they would try to make the relationship work. At the time, we were living in Alaska and my dad got out of prison in California and he could not leave the state. So my mom just decided we were moving to California. And when we got there, my dad, obviously, again, just got out of prison, was living in a motel. So that's where we were living. It was a motel in West Sacramento. If you're not familiar with West Sacramento, the best way that I can explain it is like if you've ever played the video game GTA 5, where there's like prostitutes and drug dealers and people getting run over, that's West Sacramento. So we should have pulled up to this motel, and when I tell you, there were people like so high on drugs that they were like fighting air. Like they thought someone was in front of them trying to fight them, but literally they were just fighting air. So just immediately an amazing situation. To give you some backstory, I have 2 older brothers, okay? My very oldest brother is like the biggest problem maker ever. So if there's trouble around, he's gonna find it. Boy, did he find it. Can't really remember how long after moving there this happened, but my brother was gonna show up at the skate park to fight somebody, okay? But naturally, me, my mom, my dad, my two brothers, we get in the car and we go like we're going to a freaking movie or something. Like, this is the closest we were going to get to having a family outing. Well, we pull up to the park and there's not one person waiting there to fight my brother. There is about 20 to 30 gang members there ready to jump my brother. Like I said, my dad just got out of prison. My dad is tatted up, okay? He has long hair. He's a big dude, tatted up. He just looks scary. So he stands up in front of all of these gang members and he says, no, not gonna happen today. Choose your best fighter and the best fighter can fight my son. Keep in mind, like I'm literally in the 5th grade, so just this little girl like sitting here experiencing this. Is they pick their best fighter. Him and my brother are like literally about to fight and then like shit's about to go down. The fight starts to happen. It's kind of like whatever for a while. And then the other kid gets my brother down in a chokehold. Me, my mom, my brother, my dad, a bunch of gang members are in a circle while it looks like my brother is being choked out. They're all singing like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. She's like, go to bed. Oh, you're done for. You're done for. But my dad, I remember I was screaming. Like I was so scared. And my dad was like, just rest, son, rest. Because I guess my dad saw that my brother's hand was in the way. So my brother actually wasn't getting like strained, like, you know, whatever that's called. He wasn't. He was actually just sitting there resting. So my dad was like, rest, son, just rest. Take this as a break. I have no idea how long he was on the ground. It literally felt like eternity. But all of a sudden, my brother escapes the chokehold and all hell is about to break loose. My brother turns to the kid, does 1, 2, 3, kid smacks the ground. Every single gang member is running towards me, my mom, my dad, and my brothers. My dad stands in front of all of us and is like, back the up, I'll take you all. Like it was, oh my God, literally insane. This homeless man, this old homeless man like runs over to try to like break it up and help. They turn and start beating him up. So we turn and we are taking off. We're trying to get out of there because literally like 20 to 30 gang members are coming after my whole entire family. I remember I tripped a little bit and I literally lost my shoe. And I remember literally I was like, are we gonna make it to the car or are we done for? I'm like literally like a baby. We get back to our motel, that is our home, and it's literally like, well, that just happened. Our time in West Sac was very short-lived. A couple months later, we did end up having our whole entire house robbed, and we saw a guy walking on the side of the street in my brother's shoes and holding our guitar hero guitar. And then we got the hell out of there and honestly haven't even talked about it since.
Get ready with me as I tell you about that time that I learned my boyfriend actually hated me. So he calls me and he's like, get ready, I'm coming to pick you up. And of course, I'm super excited because I'm like, I haven't seen my man all week. So of course, I'm going to go all out. Lashes, makeup, my outfit on point, and some cute heels. So thank God this guy is like a race car driver. And he gets here within 30 minutes. So he texts me and he's like, hey, babe, I'm here. Meet me outside. So I get out and usually he gets out of the car at least and like hugs me, opens the car door. This day, he did not do none of that. So I'm like, I don't know what's up with him. Maybe he's having a bad day. I don't know. Cool. But I'm going to let myself in. So I let myself in. He said nothing. Now, mind you, I got on a cute little pink dress that's hugging my curves. I've got a cute heels. Like my face is beat. I've got lashes on. I look good. I feel like I look good. And I think this is the part that I should give the disclaimer that this was a point in my life where I had such super low self-esteem. I didn't really love myself. Guys, I have come a long ways and I am so proud of myself. Thank you to therapy. So we get to the restaurant and it's a barbecue spot. And I'm like, why did he bring us to the barbecue spot when he knows that I'm not a huge like meat eater. 2, I really don't like barbecue, even though I live in Texas. But I get out of the car because I was like, I'm not going to argue with this man. Like he doesn't look like he's having a good day anyway. So I'm going to keep it cute today. We get inside the restaurant and oh my gosh, I look around and instantly, I feel so out of place. I think it had been so many years since I last went to like a barbecue restaurant. So I forgot how like they do things around the restaurant. You have to like stand in line and then wait for your turn, and then it's like a high school cafeteria. That's what a barbecue spot reminds me of. So we get in line with everybody else. Now, mind you, I'm wearing stilettos, 6-inch heels, because God forbid a girl thinks that her man is going to take her to a really nice restaurant on a Saturday night. And this line is long. I have never, ever seen a line that was that long ever in my life. After about 15 minutes of waiting in line, I was like, hey, do you mind like just grabbing our food and like bringing it to our table? Like my feet are killing me. And for whatever reason, he looks irritated. But I was like, I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta go sit down. Because this man does not have the proper decency to ask a lady to go sit down if her feet are hurting. And he was gonna be a gentleman and grab the food and bring it to the table. It gets to the point where I have to get up and like pick my sides. So I pick my sides and we get to the end where we have to pay. And he looks even more irritated. And I was like, what could he possibly be irritated about now? Like, we are at the end of this journey. So the girl that's checking us out is like a black goddess. She is gorgeous. And she looks at me and she's like, you are stunning. And I was like, you too, queen. Like, it takes one to know one. Like, she was like Naomi Campbell beautiful, like stunning. And my boyfriend, he looks at me and I kid you not, he looked at me up and down and he grabbed his food. Like, he was like, so I'm following the little man, and guess where he decides to go sit? I'll wait. Oh yeah, upstairs. Like, this man ran up those steps so fast. It was almost like saying, like, you can't do what I do. And he knows my feet are hurting. He knows I'm wearing heels. He knows all of this. So I get to our seat. I didn't mention anything about anything. Like, I wasn't trying to be negative. I was trying to have a good night. And I was like, wasn't that girl so nice, like, to give me a compliment? And he's like, why do you have to be like that? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you're doing too much. Why did you have to wear heels here? Why are you dressed like that coming to a place like this? It's almost like you always want to be the center of attention. And I was like, what do you mean? I didn't even know you were bringing me to a barbecue spot. Otherwise, I would have dressed for the occasion. Best believe. And this man didn't stop there. He went on and on and on about the things that he didn't like about me that night. And when I tell you, at that moment is when I learned this man didn't like me. When I tell you, at that moment, I felt it in my soul that this man was jealous of me. I lost my appetite. I was like, why am I here? I don't even like the food. I sat there, I watched him eat his entire meal. And it seemed like he enjoyed tearing me down because he ate that meal. All of it. And I tell you, it didn't take us that long to go our separate ways. And not a day that goes by that I miss that little man. In that experience, I learned to never, ever let a guy to let me know that he does not like me more than once. You don't have to tell me twice, baby.
I don't think I've ever been more embarrassed and mortified than I am right now in this moment today. So my 5-year-old who just started kindergarten last week asked me, Mom, why do you keep calling me autistic? Why are you saying that I'm autistic? I'm flabbergasted because she's not autistic. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do you even know what autism is? Like, no, she's like, I heard you say it. And I was just like, I can't even remember the last time I've had like a discussion about autism. I was thinking like, did she overhear a conversation? And I just couldn't think of anything. And I'm like, no, you're not autistic. But also like, I just have so many questions. But when they went with my daughter, she has the sharpest memory. Like, if you lose something and you set it down somewhere 2 weeks ago, she will be able to remember and help you find it exactly where it's at. So I said, okay, babe, can you tell me, like, was I talking to someone? Or do you remember, like, she's like, I've heard you say it a couple times about me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, can you tell me one time that you maybe remember and I can help you, like, clear it up? Because I promise you, like, I wouldn't say that about you. But, you know, I believe that you heard that because I do believe you and I trust you. But I want to like clear it up because I don't want you to feel like I'm talking bad about you or anything, right? And she's like, well, this morning I was showing you, mind you, she's building like a little dollhouse in our on our dining table while I was like making breakfast and doing her lunch and all that for school. She was working on her dollhouse, and she's like, in the morning when I was showing you my dollhouse, you said, wow, like, you're so autistic. I said artistic. Artistic? It gets worse. And she, like, you could tell that she had been holding on to that. And she was like, you call me that all the time. And I was like an artist, like, you're creative. Like, and I felt so bad because I was like, do you think I'm insulting you every time? And then, like, why would you think that, how do you even know what autism is? How do you know what autism is for you to associate a negative connotation with that? Like, I'm just, like, so confused. Then, once I clear it up, she's like, oh, okay, well, I might have already told some people and, like, my dad, too. You did what? I need to go on a damage control tour. What do these teachers probably think? What do they think? One, they're like probably also like, how does she know about autism, right? 2, do they think I use autism as an insult? 3, do they think I insult my 5-year-old? I have so many questions. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, who else has she told that I call her autistic? I really don't know.
I found out my fiance was living a double life 2 weeks before our wedding, and you know I had to get revenge. Did y'all really think I was gonna sit around and cry about the fact that the man betrayed my trust and everything we built together? Well, yeah, I did do that, okay? I'm sensitive. But more than anything, I just felt so lucky that I was able to get out before I actually married the man. So this all happened a week ago, and that was 2 weeks from when our wedding was supposed to be. And he was out getting drinks with friends, and I was just having a cozy night in. I was listening to Spotify on my iPad when it died. And what was closer, my iPad charger or his iPad? His iPad. His iPad was a lot closer. So why was I gonna get up and go get my iPad charger when I could just use his iPad? Okay, we're almost married. What's yours is mine, you know, that whole thing. Honestly, I was not trying to snoop on his iPad because, yeah, obviously I'm an idiot. I didn't think that there was anything worth snooping. I trusted him. That's a crazy concept, right? You just trust the person that you're going to marry. You don't think you have to go through their things. Apparently, I did need to go through his things. I didn't even realize at the time. As soon as I open up his iPad, I see texts start coming through. And I didn't even realize this man had his texts synced to his iPad, but they just start coming through one by one by one. And all of a sudden I see that in his groomsmen group chat, a text comes through that says, bro, did you make sure to delete all the photos so that she didn't see? And now I am gonna snoop, okay? You've lost your not snooping privileges when I see a text like that. And I knew immediately where I wanted to look. I went into his camera roll and I went a few weeks back to when he was having his bachelor party, because that's what I assume whatever photos they were talking about were from. And I was right. I'm always right. Except about trusting him. I guess I was wrong about that one. What I saw made me actually sick to my stomach. There were nearly 100 photos of him with girls, making out with girls, feeding girls food, girls sitting on his lap, just like the most disgusting, obvious cheating that was just right there, out in front of me, in photos. There was no way that man could deny it because it wasn't AI, for sure it was him. So I send myself every single photo off of that man's camera roll that showed him cheating, and then I deleted the messages so he would have no idea that I sent them to myself. And I acted totally normal for a few days, which was hard, okay? I was a very good actress, and I just pretended like I didn't know a single thing and that that man was not a dirty, slimy cheater. Because only a few days after I found those photos, we were hosting a joint bride and groom wedding shower. The day of the shower, I was like, baby, you do not need to worry about helping to decorate. Go golfing with the boys this morning. Just be here at 4 p.m. and everything will be set up. Little did he know, the party was actually starting at 3:15, so he was going to be fashionably late. And when everyone else showed up on time, they walked in and saw that the decorations were just all the photos of him cheating on me. I even got some cardboard cutouts made of him cheating with girls to like really add to the effect. His friends were there, his family was there. I mean, every single person in our life knew what he did, and they were just as disgusted as me. And when our guest of honor arrived with all of his friends at 4 p.m., you could say that he was quite shocked at the decorations. And this is always why you should have input on the decorations if you're the groom, okay? You don't want this happening to you. He immediately tries to make up excuses for why what he did wasn't wrong, but I mean, there was just clear proof. He was just like, it was my last night of freedom. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Your last night of freedom, that's not a thing. You don't just get to cheat on me during your bachelor party. That's, no. He's still calling me and begging me to try and work this out. He's like, we're so close to the wedding. It'll never happen again. He's so apologetic, but I can't marry this man. Are you kidding me? Even his family members and some of my family members are trying to get me to reconsider, but I can do a lot better than a man that cheats on me on his bachelor party 2 weeks before we're supposed to get married. And those photos are just going to be burned in my brain for the rest of my life. I can never look at that man and not see him cheating on me. But I don't know. What would y'all do?
Am I wrong for not calling my oldest daughter a princess? I, 37 male, have 3 daughters, ages 15, 6, and 5. We'll call my 15-year-old Taylor. I had Taylor with my college girlfriend. We broke up when Taylor was just a baby, under a year old. We co-parented well together. Now that Taylor is older, she comes here when she wants, but primarily stays with her mom since she's closer to her school and friends. I got married to my now wife 8 years ago. We have 2 daughters together. Taylor's always gotten along great with my wife and her little sisters. Me, my wife, and all 3 girls went to Disney World for a few days. Taylor has always been a huge Belle fan. First day at Disney, I had some work to do, so I got up early and got ready and went to the lobby while the girls got ready. When I went back up to my room, my youngest 2 were dressed in princess dresses and crowns, while my oldest had on a very, what I would call, Belle-themed outfit. When I saw the younger 2, I said, "You 2 look just like a princess." My youngest asked, "What about Taylor?" Taylor in the last few years has been over the cute pet names. So I said, "I think Taylor is a little too old to be a princess, but she's very pretty." Taylor said thanks, but sounded a little off. I didn't think anything of it. We had a good day. Taylor was distant with me, but having fun with my wife and her sisters. I figured I would ask her when we got back to the hotel. Well, I got a long, angry text from my ex-wife saying Taylor had texted her that I called her sister's princess, but not her, and said she was too old to be a princess, and that really hurt her feelings, I guess. I reminded my ex that Taylor had hated cute pet names for years now. My ex said considering we're at Disney and Taylor was in a Belle-themed outfit, I should have thought that she might have wanted to be a princess for the day. My ex said that I was being an oblivious asshole. I tried talking to Taylor, but she doesn't want to talk about it and hasn't talked to me much. My wife thinks I could have handled the situation better and made it up to Taylor. I don't think assuming my teen daughter wouldn't want to be called a princess is being an asshole.